What up, what up, what up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Want to thank you for joining us for another edition of your new favorite podcast, the Charles Coleman Podcast. Before we get started, make sure you are like, subscribe, and sharing wherever podcasts are heard. Now, as we proceed, I got to give a big shout out to my dream team members who are here on the couch with me. Shout out to my man to my left. You know me, loving Mr. Styles Performance, the DJ for the 718 and beyond. DJ CEO is in the building on the lean.
Oh, that's my thing.
That is your thing. It's your call. How you feeling, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm happy to be here. I'm feeling good. I feel like I'm looking good. I'm giving you autumn, black autumn.
I like what you're doing, like grown man adult Cashmere.
Yeah.
And to my right, understated but never underrated, Mr. Six Shooter himself, Cashmere Kirk Quillen is in the building, letting off rounds. How you feeling, bro?
I'm well, man.
You know, I had this conversation with you before.
Mm-hmm.
You know how, like, you get graduated, like, in terms of, like, in my world, it's called progressive discipline. Yeah, it was like you start off with a warning, and then you get a write-up, and you get suspended. You got one more time to put this out my face, bro. Take this.
Oh, this?
Yeah, take that and put this out my face, bro. Yeah. This is your second time, bro. This is your second one. Do you see the sound on the wall?
Hey, man. Shout out to Tubi.
Oh, you getting that Tubi, bro?
You getting that Tubi check.
Man.
Yo, listen. I mean, if that's what it is, let me know how I get on. I'll do something in the background. I can play a newscaster on a Tubi show.
Gotta work that out.
Yeah, you know, like reporting live from the scene. Make it a quick cameo.
CEO, gotta
hit me with it, you know.
I'm in it. I could be like D Nice and I'm gonna get you sucker. Just have the DJ thing.
Yeah, I'm good for a Tubi cameo. That's it though.
Nah, I need you a whole role.
A whole role throughout the movie.
Throughout the movie, several different characters.
That's how I be
It's
cool.
a Tubi budget.
Right, it's a Tubi budget.
Tubi
So I wanted to talk to y'all. Two of the most stylish brothers I know. A big part of the show is style. A big part of the show is what it is that we do. My issue is we're all men over 40, right? We go places and we see dudes and their fits are horrible. And it's not just the fit. It's like the sense of style is just completely absent, right? So what I want to do, I don't want to waste a lot of time because we got an amazing conversation lined up. We're going to get there. But there are men who are secure enough to ask, yo, so where do you get your stuff? Or how do you put your stuff together? Or this, that, and the third. And then some guys, like, they study your movements. And they don't, they're not going to ask you, but they just see everything. Then all of a sudden and you know what? At the end of the day, imitation is the best form of flattery. So, look, brother, if it's going to help you shine, I'm not mad at you. But today, I want us to do some wardrobe 101 in terms of how to get yourself right at a certain age, after a certain point, because that's the key. We're not talking about just like at any point as a man. We're in that sort of age where a lot of men don't want to accept like the dad wardrobe, like where you just wearing like a Nike tech suit in every color and a matching matching sneakers with the Nike hat. Like you don't want to do that, right? Because some of them think they styling. Right. But I also don't need you out here looking like, it's 03 and you going to a Nelly video. Like that. Right. So what are each of you's, we could go back and forth. I want to come up with the 3 best rules for wardrobe. So give me your first 1 or 2, and give me your first 1 or 2, and then I'm gonna give you mine, and we will come up with the best 3. We ain't shouting out no brands because we ain't getting no checks. So if you want us to shout your brand out, send us a check, and we'll do that. Right. In terms of building a wardrobe, but just in general.
Well, the first thing you have to do is go to LafayetteandGrandClothing.com and get yourself.
As he proceeds to do exactly what I said we want
because
to
that
do.
is my brand. That is my brand. But no, seriously, I think you have to identify. You kind of really have to understand your style represents your personality. I think that's the rule number 1. I don't think it's a good idea to copy other people. You can be influenced by other people, inspired by other people's style that you see, but really kind of identify, like know what you look like, your skin color, your body shape. I think that's the number one most important rule to style is like look at yourself in the mirror and go, this is what I look like. This is what's going to look good on me. Because there's people who go out and shop based on trends, and this trend don't work with how you look. So that's my number 1. Number two is you do I think it's very good to be diverse in how you dress, right? You should be able to pull off a suit and then also a casual urban look and, a summertime, maybe yacht look or barbecue look. Like, versatility is super important. You don't want to be the dude that shows up like in a velour suit to every event.
I wear cardigans all the time.
Fight
me.
Well, I mean, it's part of your brand now. So.
Right. Kurt, what you got?
Which camera is mine? Gentlemen. My two is kind of similar to yours, to be honest with you, all jokes aside. For me, I learned very young that you have to be before you can become, right? So you know, like just understand that your expression, right? To me, dressing is an expression, right? So we've kind of touched on a subject a few days ago about algorithms, right? Like, if you show up and present yourself a certain kind of way, you can't get mad that you're received in the way that you look, right? And a lot of people feel like, well, I don't look the way, my look doesn't justify who I am. Then you need to switch your look, right? You're getting it wrong, right? So understand that first, and I think that the clothing will kind of fall in line with that. Now, when it comes to styles and things like that, in my mind, and my experience on this planet has been, there's two types of people that walk in the store, right? You have some who have stuff at home and is looking for things that can go in addition to what they currently have. And then you have the other person who just wants everything on the mannequin, right? So figure out who you are within. Both of those people are they're not bad people, they're good people, but it's just a mindset, right? So figure out.
Good people on all sides.
Right, so both sides. Bigly, when you go to the store. Shop bigly, right? Yeah. So in that, though, figure out who you are, right? And if you are the mannequin type of shopper, then understand that your style will always be predicated on someone else's opinion.
So I got a couple, because y'all both said good things, but if I'm at home and I'm listening and I ain't got no style, that doesn't help me. Okay. I mean, it helps me theoretically, right? But I'm like, so where do I go from here? Couple things. To your point, I'm a blend these to give my answer. To your point, CEO, know what works for you. Who do you look like in real life? Like, not like in your mind, but like, is there somebody who remotely has a similar sort of aesthetic to who you are? Why do I ask? Because you can look, or you can probably Google images of them and see where they look good, where they didn't, so on and so forth, and then get ideas like, oh, this person should never wear stripes ever. Right. Or I should never, maybe stripes ain't maybe horizontal stripes aren't my thing. Or, we have a similar skin complexion. Maybe I can wear this color, so on and so forth. Or maybe I should avoid this color. So that's number one, right? You should be looking to see with people who look like you, what are the images and the looks that work for them, so that you can get a sense, generally speaking, of what you might look good in and what you probably should avoid. Number two, if it's not something that you feel comfortable in, you're never gonna look good in it. So regardless of what you see, if you feel very uncomfortable because you don't want to wear a pair of chaps with pants and your butt out like Prince, if that's not your thing, that ain't your thing. Don't put it on. Just because he looks sexy in it and you happen to be a short guy, don't mean that you're gonna feel as confident as that man did when he wore what he wore. All jokes aside, that's what it is. I think that you start with some really basic looks. What do I mean basic looks? You can literally Google men's casual wear 2023. The other thing that I'll say is people talk about staples, but as a grown male adult, we don't talk enough about like staples in your casual wear. I think you need a good pair of dark jeans. I think you need a good pair of like brown shoes that are like that can be dressed up or dressed down. I think you need you can never have my personal rules, you can never have too many white shirts. Agreed. Because whether it's suits or whether like you can wear if you wanted to Tom Ford it, for example, you could wear a white shirt and jeans if they're the right jeans and the right pair of shoes everywhere. Yeah. Not that you want to have that uniform, not that you want that to be the thing, but what I'm saying is if you have staples like that, you can make them work. And then you build from that. So before we get out of here, staples, like what are your staples? So I say a good pair of jeans, medium wash, medium to dark wash, because a lot of guys don't know this. Listen, fellas, if you're over 40, you got to limit the number of like light jeans you got. That's advanced work, fellas. Like, I mean, light jeans over 40 is advanced work. Don't do it if you don't.
If you're not built like
If
that.
you're not built like that, like chill out. Just stick to mediums because you're telling on yourself. You look old and young at the same time, right? Like you're telling on yourself with the light jeans at that age. Don't do it if you're not nice like that. Other thing, again, when I say a good pair of jeans, I don't mean an expensive pair necessarily. I mean a pair that fits you.
Right.
And what fits means something different at 40 than it did at 30. Fits means it actually fits.
Right.
Right. Like, and it's like, oh, I don't feel comfortable. Like, yo, you need to get comfortable with clothes that are your actual size, bro. So yeah, that's my staple. Like a good medium wash pair of jeans, medium to dark, some good brown shoes that you go up or down with, and white shirt. You can always get by.
You know what a staple, and I don't think people would speak on this enough. I like a good jacket, not a blazer, but like a good
leather jacket or
a good leather jacket, like something short that's versatile. So it could be a leather jacket, it could be a jean jacket.
That's a good one.
A bomber. You know, that I think that is a staple because you can in that situation dress it up, dress it down. I love that. If if it's early spring or autumn, you could throw a hoodie underneath it. Or if you're going somewhere and it's like a little more upscale, maybe you throw a turtleneck underneath it or a nice crew neck, like a skirt, you know what I'm saying? So a bomber, like a good jacket, bomber jacket, jean jacket, leather jacket, I think that is a staple.
That is a really good one. And the other thing about that brings me up, because I have a bunch of different bomber jackets, like a suede joint, leather joint, whatever. I'm a moto guy. Like I don't ride motorcycles, but I love a motorcycle jacket, right? Like I love a motorcycle jacket. Here's the other thing that I think all of us can appreciate. If you invest in good clothes, like you invest in quality, you do your best to stay about the same size, and then you take care of your clothes. These staples will let you rock for a minute. Like a good jacket, if you invest in a good leather bomber or a good suede bomber, you stay about the same size, right? Because these are classic pieces, and you take care of it. That's the investment is gonna
forever.
You're gonna have it.
Vintage shops are open for a reason.
There you go. What are your staples?
Mine are a little different from you gentlemen because from a size perspective, right? So
that's why it's important, though.
Yeah. So for us bigger gentlemen in the world,
Did you say I'm small?
You're smaller than me, but we got enough real estate here happening on this couch. You know what I'm saying? For me, it's I would say make sure your hygiene is up to par. Gentlemen, a nice scent always goes well with these staple looks that we were talking about as well too. And your accessories as well too. Get you a nice pair of glasses. Nice watch. Mixed
like
with
the
a
one
good,
that you
good
wear.
cologne.
That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. We already had. Okay, all right, so you just want to get suspended today, huh?
I mean,
Y'all talk to HR about this shit. Yeah. No, I think a signature scent is good.
Yep.
I OD on the scents. I'm not gonna lie. It's just my thing. I OD on them. But a signature scent, you can't go wrong with. I love that as an anchor. The bomber. So listen.
We're putting it together. For
If you are out there, you are listening, and you are a man, or you are the woman of a man, and you don't really know how to get him started on his fashion journey, we just gave you major keys. We gave you the top to bottom. What did I say? I said a good pair of jeans that fit. I said a crisp white shirt. I said a pair of brown shoes that you can dress up or down. What did CEO say? CEO said, invest in a nice outerwear piece that's versatile, like a bomber, leather, suede, something that is a jacket that you can wear that's not long, but also that has a level of versatility to it. You add that. Then Kurt said like some accessories, pair of glasses, nice watch, and a good signature scent. If you focus on that, you've just built a man who you can take on a date night, or you've built yourself to go on date night, to maybe go to an after work function if you needed to, something casual on the weekends, what have you, and you in the game. And from there, you build and you build. See, it really wasn't that hard. And I know I had the right people for it. That's why you come to the Charles Coleman Podcast, to learn stuff that you wouldn't automatically know in the Up Your Style game. That being said, we are going to up the game on this conversation that we're about to have. So stay right tuned, because we'll be right back on the Charles Coleman Podcast, your new home for Black brilliance. What up, what up, what up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Welcome back to another edition of the Charles Coleman Podcast. This is our Black Brilliance Conversations, where we have discussions with movers and shakers in the culture, people who are making it happen. Y'all already know we've already had on MC Light, we've had on Bun B. Today, our guest needs no introduction. I'm super excited about this conversation. Anyone who knows me knows from the beginning of this podcast, we in season 2, from the beginning of this podcast, I said, if there's one person I said that I wanted to have on, it's our guest today. I said that from the beginning. I told everybody, watch, I'm going to get him on. Watch, I'm going to get him on. And here we are today. So glad to have us on a virtual couch. You already know him. You already love him. Brooklyn's own King Asiatic, nobody's equal. Big Daddy Kane is in the building.
All right.
Super excited. What's going on, my brother? How are you?
I'm great, man. I'm great. Everything is wonderful.
I appreciate you being here. So let's get right into it, man. Hip hop at 50. Everybody's been having these conversations. It's been a huge discussion. Obviously, you can't have a conversation about hip hop at 50 without having a discussion about Big Daddy Kane. And my question to you, just to open things up, is as you look back, when you were doing your thing, 84, 86, you with Biz, you with the Juice Crew, you doing all of that. How does where hip hop is now compared to where you thought it might be some years ago when you really first, got your feet wet and really started making moves?
What's happening right now in the game is a lot different than I anticipated. As far as, the sound of music and where artists are, it's completely different than I anticipated. But as far as the impact level, it's exactly what I thought it would be. Yeah. I mean,
sonically, no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I felt that, hip hop would eventually end up being the strongest music genre just for the simple fact that it incorporates every other genre. And it was only a matter of time before all the other genres would need to incorporate hip hop in what they do.
No, that makes a lot of sense. You made a point sonically about the sound of hip hop. And one thing that I've already noticed about your career and that I've always noticed about you as an MC is that you've been able to adapt sonically to the way that music is made and creating and engaging different styles that fit the times. I think the best display of that for people who don't follow you closely, I think one of the best displays of that was the Verses with KRS. Because you flipped a bunch of different contemporary styles in addition to doing things that you had already done. How challenging is that for you? Or is it just kind of like, at this point, it's so easy for you to do because of who you are that it doesn't make a difference?
I mean, it's fun because, I don't expect anything to stay the same. I know that things are going to change, music is going to change. And, there's younger artists that come out, and some of them, when I appreciate their style and technique, I'll sit and listen and be like, oh, that's unique. That's unique. So just, keeping up with what's going on, it's fun to me. So, making whatever necessary adjustments, because I would never try to sound like a new artist of today. What I would do is say, okay, this is dope. How would Big Daddy Kane approach this?
I get it. One thing that I think is lacking, that's a conversation among like my peers when we listen to current hip hop, that I would love for you to talk a little bit about, is the model's different. So back in the day, you cut a demo, you was out in the neighborhood, you was rocking parties, you was shopping your demo, you got a deal, you cut a record, you had to go on shows, you had to work the record, but you also had to be an entertainer. And you had to actually have a dope show. You had to be able to rock a crowd. Mm-hmm. Beyond, there was no YouTube, there was no filters, there was no angles, there was no video. And one thing about you from the gate, showmanship has been a huge part of. I've seen you live at least 8 or 9 times, and showmanship has been a part of who you are literally since the 80s. And you've adapted. There's obviously the James Brown influence. There's obviously a number of different influences in terms of things that you've drawn from to make your stage show what it is, to make your stage show appropriate, but to make your stage show entertaining. I mean, it's, in my opinion, as linear a line from the Four Tops, the Temptations, James Brown, to like watching you do your thing in hip hop. Why do you think that artists today don't pay as much attention to that? And what made you want to make that such an element of who you are as a performer?
Well, with me, growing up in the era I grew up in, I saw artists like Houdini, Run DMC, LL Cool J, who had amazing stage shows. When Biz first brought me out on the road, that was something that he was always perfecting. He was constantly trying to perfect his stage show. So I understood the importance. And then, a conversation that I had with Dougie Fresh when he was explaining to me what he was trying to do in hip hop that no one else had ever done yet. So I had all of those, people to learn from. So it was something that was very important to me. Today, I think that the great performers, like with the younger generation, look at the artists that they like and see performing, like the Kanye West and so many, like several others. It's like they rely on effects. They rely on LED screens and smoke screens and flames coming up out off the floor and stuff of that nature.
Pyro and all that.
Yeah, pyro stuff and all that. Yeah. Like, so that's really what they rely on. So therefore, that's what I think younger generation coming up in hip hop now gravitate to, because that's what they see as a star performance from from the people that they look up to. And they don't focus on movement and being able to move around the stage from left to right, front and back, and the call and response and get engaged in the crowd into what you're doing and things of that nature. And definitely not rhyming over instrumentals. I think most of them, they rhyme over their vocals or they either lip sync, So, I mean, I think those elements are kind of lost and not important to a younger generation because they haven't seen that as a dope stage show. What they've seen is you need to write crystal clear LED behind you and, pyros on stage and stuff like that. That's, their understanding.
That's interesting because I think it's one of those things that for me and my peer group to fully engage an artist today, it's all right. Like, okay, so you got a good record. Your rhymes are kind of interesting. Your beats is all right. But then I pay my money to see you live. And your stage show is whack. And that's really disappointing because I can't become a fan if I can't go to your stage show and really engage the energy. So I think it's one of those things that there's an expectation from people who have been listening to hip hop and going to hip hop shows for 20, 25, 30 years that when we go to spaces now and we see that, it's kind of disappointing. I want to ask you another question. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, but you got to understand, you see, you're talking about people that's been going into hip hop shows for 20 and 30 years. This younger generation been going to hip hop shows for 2 or 3 years. So it's like, this is all they know. They're too young to have seen a Big Daddy Kane show, a Dougie Fresh show, a Run DMC show. So this is all they know. So it's not whack to them. It's what they know. It's probably amazing to them.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. If you don't know any different, then it seems like this is what it is. Like that's
Yeah.
that's the. I gotta ask you a question. This is like really more of a thing that I've been wondering for a while. You have always commanded a certain level of respect among MCs. Like when I look at the 80s and the 90s and even the 2000s, I don't ever really recall a whole lot of MCs who really wanted it with you. Like I don't ever really recall a whole lot of MCs who really felt like they was really ready to step into the arena with you like that. Everybody, the hip hop as a competitive sport was always something where people went at it. You know, you had amazing battles in the 80s. And I think people knew just in terms of reputation and things that you had done, not necessarily on wax, but in person and in different places, that you were somebody who always was with the smoke if they wanted it. Did it ever, I really gotta know, like, how did it feel that nobody ever really came at you like that? Because I feel like on one level, you're such a highly respected MC, but I also feel like in terms of really getting your mantelpiece in terms of like the Mount Rushmore of hip hop or the top 5 or whatever, sometimes you can be underappreciated. So like, how do you reconcile that?
Well, I mean, with me, I just, do what I do for the fans, for the people that love and appreciate hip hop. And when they come out and support the shows, that's what matters to me. Seeing someone in the airport or on the street corner walk up and say, yo, your music got me through college. Your music got me through Desert Storm or something of that nature. That's all that matters to me. As far as, anybody's rankings or anything like that, I just feel anybody's entitled to their opinion. I don't get upset when someone make me number 20 or number 50 or don't even include me on their list. I mean, you entitled to your opinion. You like who you like. There was like a whole big stink about, I think Billboard magazine where they placed me. And, I'm sitting there trying to explain, like if you came to Big Daddy Kane and said, yo, what's your, top 5 favorite hip hop magazines, man, I'd be going back to Rap Masters, Word Up, Right On. I doubt I would even mention Billboard. But I mean, I doubt I would mention Billboard. And I don't think they would be offended. I don't think Billboard would be offended that I didn't mention them. So why should I be offended if they made me number 20 or whatever it was, It's like, that don't matter to me because that's not who I'm making music for. I'm not making music for Billboard magazine. I'm making music for my fans. So as long as they appreciate me, that's all that matters. And as far as like with the battle stuff, I mean, cats knew. They knew what it was. And there were situations where, someone had, said a little something slick here and there. And when I confront them about it, they're like, no, that's not what I meant. I didn't say that's not what I meant by it. So it wasn't even worth addressing, If you're not going to man up to it, then, okay, cool. Just leave it alone. It's not even worth addressing.
So another thing that you and I talked about previously, when you came out, I say this jokingly, but it's very true on a lot of levels. When you came out and really hit your stride, not just with Juice Crew, but like we talking 88, when Long Live the King comes out, all of that drops and you're really, really hitting your initial stride in your career. Dude, you put light skin out of business. Like you put light skin out of business and light skin has not been back in business since. And for me, I'm very appreciative of that because at the time it was hard goings until Big Daddy Kane stepped on the scene. All jokes aside, in the bigger sense, right? Like you did photo shoots in a pool with Madonna. Like you was really out there. Blair Underwood, it was like a handful of Bobby Brown. It was a handful of brothers that really helped darker skinned men in our community have a different level of pride in who we were. Did you feel that at the time? Was it intentional? How did you sort of like navigate that? because you just show up as you are. The color of your skin is the color of your skin. But once you realize that was happening, how did you process that?
I mean, it was something different, because I mean, I know that in high school, I was that dude that a lot of women was not attracted to because of the color of my skin, because of me having dark skin. So, all of a sudden, you start seeing women attracted to you. The first thing come to mind is, okay, it's the success. You got videos out, you got music out. It's the success. That's all. But then you start hearing people say, you're a handsome, dark-skinned man. I love your chocolate skin, things of that nature. Then you realize that there's a little more to it. And then you're looking around, seeing how crazy people are going over for Bobby Brown, for Wesley Snipes. And, and it's like, oh, okay. So it's our turn. All right, well, let me speak on that. And encourage brothers to feel beautiful, dark-skinned brothers to feel beautiful, and I thought that was something that was important, to me once I had an understanding of what was going on, Yeah.
Well, Count Macula, you put light skin out of business, and they ain't really been able to come back since you buried that one.
Well, that wasn't the goal though. The goal.
Nah, I get that. Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Make brothers of my skin tone feel confident in their skin. Not to try to replace a lighter skin or nothing like that.
Nah. And that you did. That you definitely did. One thing that makes hip hop interesting is because we're at 50, right? I feel like, and I've had this conversation with a couple of people. I've talked to, I talked to Bun B about it. I talked to MC Light about it. I talked to Jadakiss about it. Just a bunch of people. And I think that right now, fans more than anyone else, particularly older fans, don't know where to go or what to do. Because we look at what is currently going on in hip hop and we don't really recognize it. It's hard for us to process or digest it. And then we look at, the people who we are most attached to, the people we grew up listening to. And again, there's like a sense of like no country for old MCs. What I find interesting is that so many of the MCs that have built the bedrock of hip hop's golden era and have really pushed the culture forward are doing different things. You just got off tour with the stage adaptation of New Jack City. You're doing other things. A lot of your peers and contemporaries are doing other things outside of music. What do you say to, and I think that that's an interesting model just in terms of being able to grow and move on through your career. What do you say to those fans who don't sort of know where to go as we age through hip hop? Because hip hop hasn't even had a full life cycle yet. But yet a lot of us are still like, well, damn, I don't really listen to this new stuff. And these and the rappers that I like, the MCs that I like, they're off doing new stuff now. What do you say to them, to those fans?
I say that, you got to stop being lazy and go back to what you was doing in your teenage years. Because back then when radio was playing Big Daddy Kane, Public Enemy, MC Light, you had to dig to find artists like Chubb Rock, because radio wasn't really playing it. You had to dig to find like songs like Small Time Hustler, like stuff like that. You had to dig to find these here type of songs. The Mighty Mike Masters, boom, boom, word, word. Like these were songs that didn't play on the radio, but they were songs that you like hearing, that you had on your cassette tapes, that you had to dig for. And I mean, that's what you have to do now. I mean, right now, there's new artists like Lady London, Conway the Machine.
Conway's a beast.
Yeah.
Conway's a beast.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like, I'm not really hearing Conway on the radio. I'm not hearing Lady London on the radio, but I found them and I'm bumping them. I mean, because I went searching for them like what we used to do. Like, you find out, you go looking for some new stuff that's out, something that sound good. You have to do that. I mean, there's people that's on my page constantly asking me about when you gonna put some new music out? I mean, they were asking me that at the same time that I had a new song out with Morris Day, not my song, Morris Day's song, but I was on it. They asked me when you gonna put some new music out, and I had new music out with Busta and Conway the Machine. We had a song out together earlier this year. And people ask me, when you going to put some new music out? It's out. Look for it. I mean, and that's what we have to do. I mean, that's what I do. I go searching for new. It's like, if I don't want to hear, the shit that's on radio, I go searching for something that I do want to hear, and I go find it.
One thing I appreciate about you is, you will sometimes even spoon feed your followers, because you will put on your IG records that people just have not heard in a while, or may have never heard, that are good records. I remember one time, and it was one thing that, it was, you played TCF, The Chosen Few, with Red Hot Lover Tone. It was like,
I'm not the one. I'm not the one. Right?
I remember that record, but a lot of people weren't up on it. So I was like, oh, okay. Not just that. I mean, there's a lot of records that you play that I've never heard, but I remember that one being like, I appreciate that, because this is a gem that a lot of people wouldn't necessarily know if you wasn't really, really into it at the time. And that's spoon feeding people. So I appreciate what you mean when you say, folks got to stop being lazy. I got 2 questions before we get out of here, man. I have really appreciated this time. And they're both lighthearted questions. So hip hop turning 50, I get it. Fantastic. Can you give me a favorite moment or a story of yours from the vast experiences you've had in hip hop that you haven't told before?
A story that I haven't told before.
About a record that you did, a collab that you made, something that almost happened that didn't, you know what I'm saying? Anything.
I tell a story. Something I saw Biz Markie do. It was like the funniest thing in the world to me. I didn't have a record out at the time. This is when I was just, coming on stage with him to ride. And one night, Biz had some girls in the limo, and we leaving one of his shows. And this is Sky Pager days. His beeper goes off. His beeper goes off. He looks at it and then looks at me and says, Luther. And the girls are like, Luther Vandross? And Biz is like, yeah, he want me to beatbox for him tomorrow night at the Garden. But I mean, I told him I ain't gonna be able to make it. I'm gonna let him wear one of my Dookie ropes though. And they like, for real, Luther like that? And I'm sitting there like, I cannot believe these girls is going for this bullshit. I'm sitting there, I can't believe they listening to this bullshit right here, man. But they believed everything Biz was saying. That Luther wanted him to beatbox for him, but he couldn't do it, so he gonna let Luther wear one of his Dookie ropes. Yeah. And they believed it.
That is hilarious. Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. Oh man, last question before we get out of here, man. I like to play this game with my friends called Hip Hop Karaoke, Life or Death. And it started because everybody knows when I do karaoke, this is a real thing. This is not like a game. I'm not saying this because you're on the line. Everybody who knows me, who's ever done karaoke with me, my song number one that I know that I'm going to do every time this karaoke is Ain't No Half Steppin'. I'm not going to get that wrong. Everybody who knows me knows that I'm not going to get that wrong. Every single bar, I'm going to get right. So the game is, if you had one of your closest friends, a child, someone was being held hostage, and they said, yo, you got to get one verse from somebody else's rhymes. Right. Life or death, hip hop karaoke. You got to get one verse right from somebody else's rhymes. You don't got to do the verse. I'm just asking you, who would you choose and what verse would it be?
Oh, Top Billin'. I mean, one of the easiest joints to remember.
You would just keep it simple.
Top Billin', yeah. Billin', Giz, yeah.
Easy. It's funny too because a lot of people struggle with that because they be like, I don't want to mess it up. They know 90% of a verse, but top billing is relatively simple where you can get, you can get through it. Yeah. Well, listen, man, it has been such a pleasure. I appreciate your time, man. I am so thankful to have had a legend like you on the show. Do you got anything coming up that you want to let the people know about?
Stay tuned for my documentary coming called Paragraphs I Manifest. It's about lyricism in hip hop, and it features Common, Jay-Z, J. Cole, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Melly Mel, Grandmaster Caz, MC Light, Lady London, many others. I can't think of offhand, but it's based on lyricism in hip hop and the importance of lyricism, and just hearing artists talk about some of their favorite songs that they've written.
Well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Big Daddy Kane, as part of our Black Brilliance branded conversations on the Charles Coleman Podcast. Want to thank him. Want to give a shout out to Miss Gina Law for making it happen. And stay tuned for more on the Charles Coleman Podcast. We'll be right back after this. What up? Y'all know what time it is. Welcome back to everybody's favorite segment on the Charles Coleman Podcast. This is Rules of Engagement, our adult conversation on love, sex, and relationships. Got a good one this afternoon. Got my boys on the couch with me running the triangle offense, and we're going to get right into it. This is a relationships conversation. I saw this, and I thought I thought it was odd, right? But then at the same time, I'm not going to assume that it's that crazy. So there was a guy who was right. This is a relationships conversation, not a sexual love, maybe love, but relationships conversation. He was writing into an advice space because he's been married to his wife for like 3 years. And when they go to family functions, like her family, he goes to his in-laws, they always take family photos, but they make a point to take certain family photos without him. Like the whole family, but not like him. And he's the only like in-law there. Okay. And he's just kind of like, yo, well, I mean, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Am I not in the family? Or is that an issue? Should it be an issue? Should he feel a way about it? Like at what point are you in the family? You married, right? Like
if you marry, you're in the family, like your family. I mean, in-law dynamics can be very interesting.
They can be.
I think when you
don't get in trouble, not on us.
Oh no, anything I speak is the truth. My wife is very much well aware of this. But I think that when it comes to pictures, I think that is kind of that's like a blatant slap in the face, right?
Like he's been like the guy in the post. I wish I could find it because I would read it. He said he had been asked to step out of like photos.
So he's not in none of the photos?
He's in some, but like in the group joints.
I mean, it depends.
Oh yeah. Oh, and there was another part. Now I really wish I could read it. He also said he learned that there was a family group chat.
And he's not in it?
He's not in it.
Oh, he's not family.
He's married to her though.
He's not family though.
Again,
in-laws is a very, very my family group chats. My wife is in all of them.
Who? You say he's not in the family. Whose fault is that?
You say fault?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like is he like if he has an issue with his wife in that instance, is he wrong for saying like, yo, you didn't bring me into your family, right? Like,
I don't think. Well, from that perspective, I don't think there's a right or wrong in that. But he has to accept it is for what it is. Like they don't fuck with you like that. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's okay. Like you know what I'm saying? Like as long as your wife fuck with you, good.
But to that point, what context is he giving in that? Because like it does sound like like you said, they don't fuck with you, and it seems to be aloof to that. Like there's certain situations like I don't fuck with them, they don't fuck with me. It's whatever, right? But it seems like he doesn't realize that they don't fuck with him.
Now he realizes it because he wrote a letter.
He wrote it to the advice column.
Yeah,
he wanted advice.
He just can't. He don't like what he realized. That's what's hard for him.
I mean, well, no, I think he also is trying to figure out.
I'm gonna stop pulling up at this point. You asked me to get out the photo. I'm not showing up next one. It's over after that. Like now you playing yourself,
right?
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna double down. I'm gonna start showing up to all the events. Nah.
Right.
I'm gonna show up more.
Word.
To
Nah.
get disheartened.
Exactly.
So, but no, the thing is,
Tired of being the cameraman. I want to
even,
be in the picture.
Right?
Don't you love me? Get him out of here. He's out
even
here.
if they don't mess with him like that, right? Is it fair for him to beef with the wife? Could he beef with the wife about that?
I think that is a per marriage situation. Like the truth of the matter, when you get married, you're not just marrying this person.
You're marrying their family.
Their family. So you two have to have an understanding. Like there's somewhere it's like, we don't, and it's cool, and it's like, all right, and you manage that, you navigate that how you feel. But if she's just like leaving you out to dry, it might be time for you to go. Like if she's not trying to hold you down.
So yes, I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
how much of in-law beef do you put on your spouse?
Yo, this conversation is crazy to me. Like, you married your spouse, yo.
I understand that, but
That's it.
so he said you married the family.
No, that's cool. That probably works for him.
And for you say
nah. I'm messing with my wife.
But it
That's
doesn't. No, but
That's
to the point,
it.
it doesn't mess. It has nothing. It doesn't impact. Like if you and your spouse are tight knit and y'all know what it is, and y'all gonna hold each other down through all these little whatever. That's different as opposed to her just leaving you out to dry. Like she ain't speaking up for you. She ain't like, yo, why y'all whatever.
But she know.
She doesn't have to speak up. She knows. Is
She's
that,
in.
I don't gotta ask you why. The group chat that you're not in, I know why. Because because you married Tyrone and we really like James.
Right.
But
That's really what happened.
But the group chat was one thing. But if you get out of your mom getting out of pocket, right? You gonna have to say something. You ain't just like, oh, y'all just don't like each other, so I'm gonna let you talk.
Oh, nah.
You gotta say something.
No, it's a lot of dudes who be like, chill out, that's my mother. Like
I mean, come on, like now let's keep it within bounds, right? So the mother and father of our spouse, they're higher on the pecking order.
Somebody done told
right?
you wrong.
So I'm not saying that you have to get along, but there's a certain level of respect that goes with that because you know the war zone that you get in with that. This is somebody's parent. Like, regardless as to how their relationship may be, that title means something to an integral human being.
You can
right?
come and go.
Right.
But,
Period. Like this is forever here. I appreciate the fact that you promised forever, but this is forever.
Yeah.
Like if I have beef with the parents, it's like that's something that me and my spouse will have to figure out and navigate. But if it's to the point where it's creating a huge problem between me and my wife, then I can't rock with them. So when Mama Bear is doing something at the crib and everybody's over there, I'm not pulling up.
No, we agree
not
on that.
out of a sign of disrespect, but they don't fuck with me.
Oh, I agree with you
know
100% on that. Yeah.
So and you don't put any of that on your spouse as being like the diplomat to be like, yo, you really need. I mean, because now on one hand, I understand you can't be responsible for another human being's actions. Mm-hmm. So like if you've tried and they've legitimately tried and it just don't mix, and that's what it is. But like, how much of that do you put on your spouse in terms of like them that relationship or whatever relationship it is with the in-laws not being, great?
Mm-hmm. Well, again, for me, like when I hear in-laws, to me that's parental level, like cousins and siblings and all that. Like they like friends to me. Like
they don't even count.
I mean, they count because being respectful, right? They're your family, but like I said, the pecking order. If me and your brother can't get along, I'm sorry. But your brother's like any other dude in the planet. Like,
oh wow.
As long as it doesn't get disrespectful, you know what I'm saying? We good. Like,
so you feel like the only one you gotta really like bow out to is the parents.
Well, yeah, or like like the higher ups.
Yeah,
grandparents. Things like
right.
But are you saying in a sense like you not meaning like you just not gonna get into it with them? Is that what you're saying?
Well, for me, what I'm saying is there is no level that I can even be interacting with them on to create a real beef outside of them saying that baby girl picked the wrong guy. Like they like this other dude more than they like me, and I'm kind of like the runner-upper in the situation. I can't fight that battle. There's nothing I can do. So
let's go back to the group chat. You find out Miss DJ CEO has a family group chat and you ain't in it.
No, I already know there's one and I'm not in it, and I don't want to be in it.
You all right with it?
I don't want to be in it.
Oh shit!
I don't want to be in it.
Triggering one of us. God damn it!
So you just
I'm cool. Like again, and that's what I'm saying. Like it's so many nuances and it's so much nuance and so many different things. Like he created a situation where scenario where he was like, oh, they wanted another dude and it's whatever. But some in-laws are just assholes, right? And they ain't got
Not
nothing to
saying
do with
that you're
that.
saying that about yours.
Some in-laws are just assholes. And
We can just double it down out here.
and it's just, but at the end of the day, like you said, I'm married to my spouse, right? So as long as I know that my spouse got my back, because the Bible says you leave home,
Leave
right?
and cleave.
So like as long as we together, we'll figure out a way to navigate that.
If they can't support a decision she made for herself by not fucking with you, in essence, to me, in direct proportion, that means they don't fuck with her like that.
Man, there's so many levels to this shit because you can not fuck with somebody but still have respect and decorum when you're with them. The issue comes when there's no respect being shown.
Like asking somebody to get out the picture.
I got
'cause
the
it's a
picture,
family.
right? That's different. You can not fuck with me. You can take a
That's
picture.
too far.
Yeah. Like, because it's...
But you got the invitation to the crib, though.
Don't matter. It don't matter. Like, it's almost like you may not
Crib,
even got
not
the
pictures,
invitation. She might have got the invitation and
That's
she just
true.
pulled you up and she didn't...
So then that means, but again, she would have known that. That's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say. Somebody's
Yeah.
in the light, and there's always somebody in the dark. The person in the light is the conductor of how we're supposed to move, right? So if you know your family don't fuck with me based on the private group chat, the fact that I ain't in no picture nowhere, and I don't get to go in the living room unless I'm accompanied by somebody else, they don't rock with you, son.
Right.
So, but she knows that. Now, if she says, all right, I'm going to bring you into this hostile situation
Right.
on purpose because I like how grandma snap on you at the table, then you're the mark.
Oh, well, that's different.
That's
That's way different.
I mean, I think the sort of like thing is, and I don't know if you sort of touched on it, Kurt. If you're aware that your partner and your in-laws, if you will, or your folks don't really rock with your partner, it's unfair for you to keep trying to put them in that situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, why you don't come to me to the family joint? Because your family doesn't like me.
You know why.
You know why.
Right.
Don't force them. You can't. I don't know if you can make your partner responsible for the fact that like
Yeah, you can't make them responsible.
yeah, but then they can't force you to like still come around at all the joints when they know they're not rocking with you.
There's no general answer to this because again, there's so many nuances to this.
Teetering.
Yeah,
To
he
not-
playing.
just let it
Because
out.
you know why? Because
This is a safe place.
because
This is
sometimes
a safe place,
This is a safe
man.
place, bro.
the whole world is gonna see this as a safe place. There's a sometimes you not showing it up make it hot for them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you gotta just show up just
Nah,
to take
but
it on the chin.
Nah, but that's on them though. Nah, I get it. Sometimes
You gotta show up just
if
to
you
take it
don't
on the
show
chin.
up, it makes it hard for them. But that's
Yeah.
on them though. That's that they gotta understand that. Because here's the thing, right? Like at that point, you got to make a choice. Like, are you gonna stick up for not your? I don't want to say stick up for your relationship, but is that gonna be something that is more important to you, or you just gonna get through the afternoon or the evening with your family talking trash while the soca music playing? That's just really what it is.
That was mad specific.
You can mix at the party, but you can't get in this damn photo. I'll tell you that. much.
Yo, that would be crazy if they was like, yeah, he could
Yeah, he can spin some records.
He can
but-
spin some records,
yeah.
put his little playlist on, but
Nah, you good.
these photos, nah, you dead on
Yeah,
that.
it is very
Or
interesting.
is it now? If that was your experience, right? Because we gotta kind of let this pendulum swing the other way.
Okay.
We can't just attack our in-laws, right? So now you've experienced that, right? 3 years in, Duke said, right? No, you know dice. You can't get in these photos. Boom, boom, right? This year Thanksgiving, Big Mama said, "Baby, come on, get in this photo." Does that mean you cracked the ice and you now down, or is this a pump fake because of all the little back and forth? in
Was
the group
Big Mama
chat?
keeping you out the photos before? Or was it mom keeping you out the photos?
Oh, we're gonna get specific. All right, mom.
Because
It was
Big Mama she's usually the nicest,
Yeah.
All right, so it's mom and the zesty auntie.
And now they want you in
Yeah,
the
the
photo.
sassy auntie.
Yeah.
This is everybody got that sassy auntie who's like,
You just get in the photo, but don't smile.
Oh, so you play that game.
Play that game.
I'm good at that.
Ooh.
So everybody's smiling, you sitting there looking crazy.
You don't got to scowl. You just
This is some bullshit, or they finally love me.
it doesn't matter because
Ooh.
you don't think because you look.
I'm not gonna lie. I would be challenged by that. Like 3 years, 4 years, whatever. I've been around.
Been around.
And you done kicked me out before. Now
Because
that's a hard one. I don't know. I don't know if I'm just hopping in that joint.
You know what it is. You know they don't really fool with you.
Nah, but
There's probably a
right. So which is why I might be like, oh, I gotta use the bathroom or
we'll wait.
Yo,
I'm doing my best to get out that photo.
I'm just saying, I'm good.
I'm like I don't want to be like, like you don't want to actually reject it, but I would almost feel like the biggest sucker being like,
but I'm saying you don't do that. Like you just stand in the back somewhere and just take the picture. They're not checking for you anyway.
Nah, I gotta go put some gas in the car. We got
in the car.
We'll wait.
Well, that being said, let us know what you think. That's going to do it for us. We are almost out of here. Hope you enjoyed today's conversation. Hope you enjoyed the great interview that we had. And until next week, make sure you are liking, subscribing, and sharing your favorite podcast. This has been DJ CEO. He is Cashmere Kirk Quillen, and I'm Charles Coleman. We'll see you next week on the Charles Coleman Podcast. Peace.